have wild weather from a heat wave and wildfires to a tropical storm. This is one of the most unusual and extreme weather weeks California has seen in quite a while. Today marked the 10th straight day of flex alerts, which expired this evening as we come out of a scorching heat wave. Tropical Storm K bringing intense rain and 100-mile-per-hour winds to parts of Southern California, sparking concerns about coastal flooding. And 11 major wildfires are spreading across California, one of them the ballooning mosquito fire in Placer and El Dorado counties. Smoke from that fire is drifting over the Bay Area and creating hazy conditions. Check out the sunset tonight over the South Bay. Barely can make out the mountains in the backdrop. And here's what it looked like when the sun was setting in San Mateo, Mount Diablo, and Oakland. A lot of that haze in the upper atmosphere. Closer to the mosquito fire, very thick smoke is blanketing El Dorado County. It has quadrupled in size to about 30,000 acres, and tonight over 5,000 are evacuated.
As fire crews rushed in to fight the flames, fearful homeowners left with whatever they could.
I'm terrified because everything I have is my home. You know, I'm retired, disabled, so everything I ever worked for is up there. Everything.
I'm scared to death I'm going to lose everything. Everything I have in there, cars and motorcycles. I mean, that's my life's collection.
Firefighters had quite a battle on their hands overnight as the wind whipped the mosquito fire into the town of Volcanoville. Overnight, flames scorched at least 5,000 acres, burning several homes in its path. Crews from San Francisco, Alameda County, and San Jose have joined the effort to try to slow down the blaze, but the difficult terrain and steep canyons are making it extremely difficult. Residents knew a fire like this was coming.
I go through this every year, you know, so yeah, it's kind of like maybe I've been gradually building up to this point. You know, of course I've been dreading it.
This is the fight firefighters had to deal with. Here on the ridge of Forest Hill, just a few hundred yards from the center of town, crews were able to save several homes by creating a strong fire line around the property. The cause is under investigation, but the U.S. Forest Service did surround the base of a PG&E transmission pole with caution tape. There were no signs of damage, but PG&E reports unspecified electrical activity at the time the fire started. The governor has secured money from FEMA to help with firefighting efforts and declared a state of emergency in the area.
Chief Meteorologist Paul Hagan is tracking the smoke and temperatures. Paul, I think we can expect cooler temperatures this weekend, right?
Right. So that's the change that we're looking forward to. The one thing that probably isn't going to change is the amount of smoke in the atmosphere overhead. We'll start with a look at the conditions around the mosquito fire. So the big picture perspective here, so you can kind of get your geographic bearings. We'll zoom into the site of the fire, and you can see all the satellite-derived hotspots are just glowing on the map. This is still a very active fire this evening. But conditions aren't as bad as they were last night. So at least some good news. The humidity is just a touch over 40%, though. That's still quite low for 11 o'clock at night. The winds aren't that strong. Only at 2 miles an hour sustained. The gusts are only up to 8 miles an hour. Hopefully, the fire crews will take advantage of the less unfavorable conditions to hopefully get some containment, at least on the fringes of that fire before it can grow even further. In terms of the amount of smoke, our air quality dipped in just the moderate category across the Bay Area today. That's where we still are right now. The worst air quality is much closer to the site of the mosquito fire and then backing up into the Central Valley. Our air quality is going to stay in the moderate category tomorrow. There's going to be smoke in the atmosphere overhead, but just not as much of it right at ground level. We'll track that just through the weekend and into early next week. Coming up in just a few minutes. Temperatures tomorrow is a whole different story. We're going to see 70s and 80s instead of the 80s, 90s, and low 100s across the Bay Area. We'll fill in the rest of the map as well in just a few minutes.